myself out. Not by anything that I've done, that's for sure. As mentioned, as repeatedly mentioned. Sorry, guys. Just got out of the shower. Even though I dried off, I still feel damp. Um, yeah, as mentioned, technology, me, don't go together too well. I just have our friend Any Fin is Possible. He's doing a live stream, um, and they are fishing. They're actually fishing for fishing, fishing for bait for fishing. It reminds me of when I was a kid. All right, just give me a second, guys. I'm going to bring up the live stream on my desktop. I'm going to do my best to talk for an hour ish. Reason being is William's here. William says, hello, Yogi. Hello, William. Yep, the reason being is I didn't get my second meditation in. Normally, it's before my biggest meal of the day, which is, so I try to do my second meditation around 10:30. I always tell people to meditate in the afternoon, in the morning, and then the afternoon. So it sounds odd for me to say that I do my second meditation at 10:30. However, um, the difference is, since I go to bed so early, since I'm up so early, 10:30 is sort of afternoonish for me. Trying to see what's going on with my live stream. As mentioned, I had some technical difficulties. I thought I had it straightened out. Doesn't look like I do 100%. I think some people might go into the wrong live stream. Gonna see if I can fix that. So how's everyone doing? Everyone having a good day? I was going to read something, and I still might in a minute. I wanted to read. Sorry, this is why me and technology don't get along. I think I've got things figured out. So, hey, let me know what's going on, guys. Mark says, stopping by to leave a like. Much appreciated, Mark. Pokemon says, hello, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you, too. So yesterday I read Mother Teresa's prayer, which actually wasn't written by Mother Teresa. She had it posted in her hermitage, her hospital, actually, of which she worked with children. And it was basically saying, whatever we do, someone's going to come along and mess it up. If we do good, someone's going to come along and tear it down, call us names, whatever. But the lesson is, do good anyway. Do what you're going to do anyway. Live your life to the fullest anyway, no matter what other people do. They are playing their role, such as it is. I don't know why. Who knows why people do what they do? The yogic, psychological, as well as Buddhist explanation is they do what they do because they are deluded in mind stuff. What Patanjali calls the vacillating mind, the mind motion. And that causes what's called kleshas. Kleshas are the 5 afflictions of the mind. Klesha actually translates to affliction. Pokemon says, my friend, good to see you. Good to see you as well. And we get caught up in those afflictions. And we don't know any better. As a matter of fact, we don't even know that we're caught up in those afflictions. We think that's the way it's supposed to be until we catch a glimpse of what the Buddhists call our clear mind, blue sky mind, always open, always spacious, always unaffected by the storm clouds of life that pass through it. However, we identify with the storm clouds, so of course life is always stormy. Whenever we catch a glimpse of that blue sky, and we do in moments of meditation, we do in moments of absolute beauty when we're just overwhelmed, we do in moments of pure unconditional love, we do when we practice forgiveness, when we do breath work, whenever the mind gets still, just for a moment. Let's see, William says he has a phone call. And when we do catch that glimpse of our blue sky nature, we see all the mind stuff and how we've been addicted to it and how we think that that is reality, when in fact, it's an illusion that we're projecting to the world. And part of that illusion is judgments, projecting our guilt upon the world, upon other people. What are we guilty about? It's a deep-seated psychological, emotional, spiritual, and primordial guilt of our separation from the source itself. We feel like we are small, separate, egoic people alone in the world, not connected to anything or anybody. We try to make temporary connections in relationships, but they never truly fill the space that we believe is between us. But we try, which is why we're always slightly disillusioned. We have that voice of the ego saying, they don't really understand me. No one really understands me. I'm alone in the world. Which of course you're not, because, not to co-op a song, you are the world. We are the world. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to sing the whole song. Queen's here. And Jace is here. Hello, my friends. So we have that guilt. And of course, we're told that we're full of guilt. Original sin. How can you not be guilty? You hold the sin of the downfall of humanity, kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Here's the amazing thing. In Genesis, it says that God called Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And yet nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in the Old Testament, does it ever say that Adam woke up. So we are still dreaming. The primordial person, Adam. The first and only of us. Adam being the alpha. Still asleep. And we are dreaming that we are separate. That we've been kicked out of the garden. When in fact we haven't. Ash is here. Ash says, hi Yogi, you made it today. I'm glad for that. Thanks for coming by. Much appreciated. So what's that have to do with Mother Teresa and her prayer that I absolutely love? Quite a bit. As I read yesterday, maybe I'll read it again in a minute. I want to read something else in a minute as well. But Mother Teresa keeps talking about, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and read. We're going to read both, if you guys don't mind. Because I love this prayer. And it is so significant for what each and every one of you might be doing on YouTube, on your channel. Because you're going to be attacked. I mentioned that before. Someone, somewhere, somebody is going to think, I see it. One of the most beautiful channels of a gentle soul doing his best to reach out and help other people through the gift of fitness and mindful motion. We have Jace. And I see people occasionally show up on Jace's channel just to be rude, just to tear him down a little bit. He's unaffected by it because that's Jace. And that's the way we all could be. It's how we actually are. We just don't know it yet. So I know you've probably heard me. Hey, Eric, how are you? You've heard me read this before, but it's fitting. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. It was never between you and them. Never. If someone attacks you, that is their attack thoughts attacking their invulnerability. If that makes sense. If you attack in kind, you are not attacking them, you're attacking your own invulnerability. It seems like a paradox. If I'm invulnerable, how can I be attacking it? Exactly. That is the paradox. So by not attacking, here's what we're showing the world, and here's what we're showing people who attack us. We are showing them that we are invulnerable because we are at peace. We are at peace by nature, by who we are. So, Pokemon's saying hi to everyone. Everyone is saying hi to each other. Absolutely awesome. Do you guys know our friend Ash? Ash says, I'll be right back. My data is low. I might make it tomorrow. We'll be here. Sir Prescott F. Shumpleton III says, slow, yellow, mellow. Let's see. William says, question to the point. When you work in the tree farm, is boarding included? Dottie's here. Dottie says, hi, Eric, and all my friends. So in a little bit, I'll read the second thing I wanted to read. This is a prayer of St. Francis that has had a hugely influential role in my life. I actually had it printed out at one time and on my dashboard in my car. It was one of the very first committed meditations that I did. I learned it from Ignatius Warren, a great teacher, a great translator of all kinds of spiritual texts. And his meditation that he practiced and taught was sort of contemplative prayer, contemplative meditation. You take a great spiritual passage, which is why he called it passage meditation. He recommends starting with the prayer of St. Francis, and you meditate on that. Close your eyes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Each word, a couple nice easy breaths. You have the passage memorized, and you allow each word very slowly, just enough space between each word that you recognize the spaciousness, but it doesn't lose meaning. It still flows. So, the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. The premise is that you become what you meditate upon. If you want to become an instrument of peace, instrument of God's peace, whatever your thoughts, concept, beliefs of God happens to be, then you meditate on being an instrument of peace, and it overflows in your life. It's a beautiful way of meditating, It brings a lot of calm, a lot of peacefulness, as well as all the benefits that we get from meditation. It's also a great form of easy concentration as you meditate. The entire prayer becomes a mantra. You get to the end of it, you start over for the allotted time. You're going to mess up. You're going to forget it. You're going to have other thoughts. You're going to get to instrument and you'll start thinking guitar, drums, what's my favorite instrument? I wish I had listened to my mother and took music lessons when I was a kid and then I'd be able to play an instrument. That's how the mind works. Tibetan Buddhism, it's called Shenpa. You get hooked. But you come back. But you're giving yourself a penalty point. You come back to the beginning of the prayer and you start over gently, because we're teaching ourselves to be forgiving to ourselves, forgiving to our own mind. And in that, we start being forgiving to other people. Because guess what? They get caught up in their own mind stuff too. Imagine that. They get caught up in their own mind stuff. If you get caught up in your mind stuff and it's displayed in ways that you don't always like, imagine how they feel. This way, we become instantly forgiving. So let me read this real quick, and then I'll dive into the conversation. I apologize, guys. This is a prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, it is in dying to self that we are born to eternal life. So in the end, the master that he's talking about is the master within us all, the self with a capital S, soul, spirit, whatever we want to call it. That's who we're asking. That's who we're saying, grant they may not so much seek. And when it says, when Francis says it is in dying to self, what is meant is that it is in dying to ego that we are born to eternal life. It's the ego that was born. It's the ego that dies. The self, that which we are, remains eternal. With all that said, let's dive into the conversation. Sorry, guys. I appreciate you indulging me. All right, let's get caught up. Pokemon says paradox is a good word. I feel like it's reactions, reacting to the reaction until you learn to not react. Man, I like that, Pokemon. I like that a lot. And that's an excellent point. Or we learn not so much not to react as to be responsive. We learn responsibility. We have an ability to respond instead of reacting to everything. Think about that. How much do we react to? If I were to come in here and announce my political party, and this is who I'm voting for, and this is why, there'd be someone, maybe not in this particular conversation, but someone who's come in from time to time, there would instantly be division. They would react. They wouldn't respond with, let me think about that. Why do you feel that is true? Maybe we can have a conversation about it. There would be a reaction of, no, my guy is better. And on it would go. And then I would react, like Pokemon said, and then they would react, and I would react. And before you know it, we'd get in an argument. Because it's my channel, I'd ban them. And they'd be gone, or they'd leave. There was no responsibility there. And no point in that made up scenario did I ever respond. I just reacted, and then they reacted. Now imagine if they reacted with a response and said, I hadn't thought of it that way. I might not agree with you, but I'm interested in hearing more, or I'm settled in my own thoughts. This is who I'm going to vote for, but I appreciate they responded. And then I have no reason to get upset. I have no reason to react. It was diffused by what they said. Jacob's here. Jacob, my friend, how are you? Rona Boy says, did someone say 150 burpees? I caught the first part. Eric LaPointe had said, nope, it does not include boarding, right? Dottie says hi to everyone. Says, I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Man, Dottie, the van is looking excellent. Jacob is dropping links. Kayla's here. Kayla, how are you? Jay says, Kayla Hun, howdy. Warren says, that stool looks amazing, Dottie. So I think about all that. I think about the Mother Teresa's prayer. I think about the prayer of St. Francis. And I think about YouTube. Think about YouTube channels. And I'm going to talk about this again. I'm going to do a short little talk later in the afternoon. And I talked about it after my workout. That basically it's the illusion of safety. We want to create the illusion that we can be safe somewhere. Most specifically, online. This is a safe spot. Truth is, there are no safe spots. That's why Alan Watts wrote a wonderful book, The Wisdom of Insecurity. The key is when you don't have that safe spot, when you have that wisdom of insecurity, you're safe everywhere. You are self-reliant, as Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote about in his wonderful essay, aptly titled Self-Reliance. Thank you for dropping those links, Jacob. Kayla says she's doing good. So it's always about turning back within, turning back within and turning back within. It appears someone's attacking you. They're not. They can only attack themselves. Attack thoughts only turn back on themselves, unless we welcome them. If we are attempting to be an instrument of thy peace, as St. Francis says, then we are immune to the criticism of others. That doesn't necessarily mean that when someone says something it doesn't hurt. It means that we don't take it as seriously or as personally as we used to. That what saddens me the most under those conditions of attack is that there is the condition within someone else that leads them to attack. That they are projecting their guilt, their fear, their unease, their hurt, projecting it out into the world, creating the conditions within themselves where the only way to navigate through life is through attack and attack and attack. And if I attack in return, then we're just creating a world that we have now, a world of attack, a world of fear, a world of crime, a world of warfare, which everyone takes for granted. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's the way the world's always been. Ever since, was it Cain who clubbed Abel, or did Abel club Cain? I don't remember which. But of course, that's part of the dream. That's the illusion. That is the projection. In a single moment of being attacked, I can meet that person with openness, with honesty, with sincerity, and unconditional love. Doesn't mean that I have to take what they say. I can still walk away, but I do it all with a sense of love. William says, I know I handled something this morning poorly. I did not know if it is attacking in return, but it was not 100%, definitely not an attack. So it must be. So you can flip that around. Instead of thinking that you handled something poorly, you misidentified the situation because of your perception. And now you can forgive it. And you ask for the miracle of, I can see this another way. I can't fix what happened then, but I can ask for a healing now. I can let it go. I can learn something from it. Was I reactive? Was I responsive? And can I use this as an opportunity to be more responsive in the future? And again, William, I mentioned this before, the fact that you even recognize these moments, even if it seems after the fact, is huge. Because now you start stringing them together. And now you start remembering to be responsive earlier and earlier. That's the plan anyway. That's where meditation works. It creates a calm mind. It's an alchemical process that allows us to be, as I talked about this morning, the witness instead of caught up in the objectiveness of the situation. So basically, yeah, sort of talking about that at the top of the conversation, because I really see people in the process. I see people like Jace. I see people like Kayla, Eric Lapointe, even William to an extent. The reason I say even William to an extent is because he has never wanted to be a content creator. He's in the role of support. Maybe he's going to want to expand. I know he's put out a little more. I liked his frying of the tomatoes video. But even as a supporter, someone's going to come along and they'll have something to say to William. Someone is going to, people will continue their attack on Jace. People will have mean things to say about me. You know, some people come in here in this conversation and have the nerve to identify me as bald. Imagine that. What could they be thinking? Our friend Joe Delaney is here. Joe, how are you? I actually have Joe up already. As you can see, that is Joe Delaney on my dirty screen, by the way. That needs to be wiped down. 604 subscribers. She is now 600 in. 396 more to go. And that's still just the beginning. Just the beginning. The reason why I had her up is because I wanted to see the stuff, new stuff that she has up. Believe it or not, for all of Joe's positivity, for all of the beautiful content that she has, there'll be someone that'll show up and try to tear her down. Which, of course, she doesn't deserve, as she is just seeking to inspire and motivate people. But hey, that'll happen. So That's why I started reading with Mother Teresa's prayer. The good you do now, someone will come along later and attempt or even succeed in tearing it down. Do good anyway. The content that you put up today, someone will come along and criticize. Put up content anyway. It's your channel. Be your authentic self. But my thoughts, and I've expressed this quite a bit, I refuse to have enemies. Joe saying hi to everyone. So how are you, Joe? Congratulations on 600 plus. Barb, how are you? Barb says, hello, all my family here. Barbara said, sorry I'm late. Blessings and hugs all. You're never late, my friend. Everyone's saying hi. Barb says, hey, Jacob, missed you today. I had 3 doctor's appointments. I'm really tired from the heat. Yeah, I bet. Is it as humid as it was a couple of days ago, Barb? Jacob says, you're good, Sister Barb. William says, I want to extend an apology to you for this morning, Jace. I apologize for reacting to your friend. I understand they meant well. Barb says, hey to Pokemon, Kayla, Eric LaPointe, and Dottie. Odom's here. Odom, how are you? Odom says, yes, it's crazy how when you're spreading inspiration, it's still haters. And no one knows that better than Odom. Believe it or not, Odom's been criticized, not just criticized, hated upon, for breaking out in song, in spiritual song, in gospel, pure from the heart, overcome by the beauty of God's creation, breaking out in song, and people come and hate on that. An entire channel meant just to glorify nature, God's creation. And he shares it beautifully, shares his message wonderfully, and you got people showing up to hate on it. However, Open still shows up. Barb says the humidity is horrible. So that's the whole point. You do what you do anyway. Barb says, hi, William, nice to see you. Joe says, exactly, I've learned to only concentrate on what I can control, and that's me. Absolutely. That is the whole, that's the whole lesson. In a nutshell. That's the entirety of A Course in Miracles, is that we don't accept what isn't extended in love. Doesn't mean that we put a wall up and we say, I don't see it. We don't close our eyes, close our ears, and sing ourselves a happy song. We realize what's going on. We also realize that it is not meant for us. There's a line in the Course in Miracles that says, ideas leave not their source. And it points to the fact that we are ideas in the mind of God, which means we've never left the source. It also means that an attack thought doesn't leave its source. So it's never meant for us, as much as it appears to be. Every attack is an attack upon itself, is an attack upon its source. So what do you do when you see someone attacking themselves? Do you join in the attack? Do you double down? Now's my opportunity. I'm going to get some payback. You have compassion. You have empathy, because we've all attacked ourselves. You send them love, and you go about your business, and you keep putting out inspirational, beautiful, whatever it is you're doing. Wolf's here. Yogi and Eric Lapointe. Wolf, how are you? This is why I may not think about it anymore. It was an attack towards me, and only mere words on a screen. Monk is one of us. Wolf is saying hi to everyone. Joe says hi to Wolf. Worm says, thank you, Jace. Hey, Wolf, happy to see you all. See you and Barb today, and hope all is going well for both of you. Eric Lapointe is back, his second day of work since vacation. Man, what an awesome vacation that was. I appreciate you sharing that, Eric Lapointe. I appreciate you sharing the videos. I hope you guys checked out the awesome psycho burpees on the beach. Jay says, Eric, I have a request. Please share your, please shave your head. I'm getting jealous of your fine covering, mighty fine. It is pretty fine, isn't it? So fine that I think you actually might need a magnifying glass to see it. I think I'm still, might be a day away from an actual head shave. Barb says, can we get together and do a rain dance? Boy, do we need it. Barb, you and I talked about something once. We talked about the art of prayer. I wonder if you remember how we talked about it. It was actually you and I and Wolf, and we talked about how you don't pray for rain, you pray rain, meaning you get the essence, you feel rain, you invoke rain from within, and so it happens without. If you pray for something, then you're basically admitting, I don't have this. It's separate from me. Please send it. You're petitioning. If you pray rain, then you know that rain is already in existence. It's raining somewhere now. You're not making something out of nothing. You're simply moving where it is now. And Jace mentioned this before. You're moving it where it is now to where it will be, right here. Eric Point says, anytime, Yogi. Kayla says, lurking for you, Yogi. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Kayla. So, hey, we can certainly pray rain with Barb and Wolf. And we can join that for anyone. Guys, what is it you wish to create? We can do a manifestation process with all of us. Jay says, we can see it, as Louise would say. We can see it. But I don't want you guys to think I'm showing off. I don't want you guys to think that I'm showing off my hair, my new hairstyle. Odom says, I'm blessed. How are you? Hello, everyone. Sorry, busy day. Can't type everyone's name. Perfectly fine, my friend. Doing pretty well, Odom. Barb says, yes, I do. I thought you would, because it was a great conversation. One of infinite numbers that I've had with both you and Wolf. Barb says, when we do a rain dance, it's there. We just ask for the clouds to release it. Jay says, boiled and scrambled eggs, please. Jay Delaney is laughing. You know, I mentioned this before. It reminds me of a conversation in an interview that the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi gave when he was trying to get the funds to buy an actual college in Fairfield, Iowa. Um, and he was asked, where this was in the early days of the Transcendental Meditation movement. They didn't have a whole lot of funds at the time. Later became a mega empire, which is why Deepak Chopra left. Fortunately for me, because I ended up becoming a teacher of Deepak Chopra's primordial sound meditation. He was asked, where are you going to get the funds? It's an impossible amount of money in 1970 something. And he just laughed and said, from wherever it is now. He didn't have to create the money. It was already there. You just need to make space for it. So Odom doesn't have to manifest retirement. He just needs to create space for it. I am trying to maintain my retirement. I put my business aside to care for my father as a caregiver in his final years. No regrets whatsoever. It was a gift to me. And I've inherited a house, and it was a small sum of money, enough to keep me going for a little bit. However, especially doing some work, teaching meditation on the side, teaching breath work on the side. As I mentioned before, it didn't work out quite that way, as someone in my family needed some funds, so I helped them out without the expectations of getting it back, which is fortunate, because if I had the expectations, I would be sorely disappointed. So I thought to myself, hey, can I do something on YouTube? Can I take the teaching of meditation that I do privately and take the same type of concept and offer it as a channel, with a bonus of a upper middle-aged, half-naked, bald yogi doing burpees in his basement? Who wouldn't want a bonus like that? You know what? I thought it was a career-making opportunity. And I met my goal. Speaking of manifestation, they said I wanted it by this time, and I did. So I lost my train of thought for a second. I was looking at a comment from Jace. Jace says, anything is a bonus if we do it right. Absolutely. So here we are. This is my opportunity. So Jace, we are manifesting boiled and scrambled eggs, right? Barb says, Jace, I love eggs, almost every way cooked. We are manifesting retirement for Odom. Barb, for her blood platelets, right? Are so low. So what we do is, again, the art of manifestation. We're not asking for something that is out of the realm of possibility. As I talked about before, in A Course in Miracles, the miracle that we're asking for is a shift of mindset. If it's a mindset that is causing illness or the body react to a certain way, then it's a shift of the mind to help the body go up. So it's the, I talked about this yesterday, it's not mind and body, and it's not even mind-body. It's one thing. We need to come up with a word for that. There should be a word for that. So we can certainly join in, and instead of praying for, we pray as. We realize that Barb isn't separate from me. Barb isn't separate from you. That we are waves, the metaphor that I've been using, the metaphor that Jason's been using, waves within the same ocean. That we are notes within the one song of existence itself. Deepak Chopra said once, the only reason why I can't wiggle your nose is because of the single thought that we are separate. When Jesus performed miracles, and remember he said, all that I have done, you all can do as well. He asked one thing: have faith that you are healed. He didn't say, have some faith that you are healed, have a little bit of faith, maybe you could be healed. Sorry guys, I haven't been having much luck with leprosy lately, but I'll do my best. He said, you're healed. And you were healed. Jesus could wiggle my nose because he doesn't have that thought that we are separate. Without the thought of being separate, then why can't I aid with Barb in raising up her blood pellets? Why can't I send extra time to our friend Odom? And who's to say we can't? Odom says, awesome sauce. Jay says, I would like to give a big shout out to the basement. Without it, yogi would just be a yogi. This is true. Imagine if I didn't have burpees. Imagine if all I had was an attic. Just a yogi doing burpees in his attic. And we've seen people. If you guys have followed Burpee Matty, he has done his burpees everywhere. The hallway of gains, the kitchen of gains, the attic of gains, the front yard of gains. I appreciate that shout out. Don't want to be just a yogi. I want to be just a yogi in my basement. Of course, now I'm just a yogi in my office / storage area and cat haven. Let's see. Barb says the doctor only wants me to eat liver, but I only like chicken liver. But lately can't hold them down. Any other suggestions that I could eat to raise the blood pellets? Not offhand, Barb, but let me check. Let me check some Ayurvedic sources, and I will let you know. Back when I ate meat, I used to enjoy chicken liver. How about if you tried regular liver, prepare it a different way? What if Wolf cooked it? How about if it was mixed in with like a seafood stew of some sort, so he didn't even know it was there? Odom says, try them fried hard, Barb, or with gravy. Are you talking about the chicken liver or the regular liver? Or both? Barb says, the day Jesus died on the cross, we were all healed. Absolutely. I often think that point is missed. When it is said that Jesus died for our sins, for us to continue to view ourselves as sinful, not sinners. Remember, sinners just means we've missed the mark. But to view ourselves as sinful means that we are denying the sacrifice that was made on the cross. And who are we to defy? The will of Jesus, the will of God. Jay says, Barb, fried with onions and a thick gravy does work. Season them first. That's the way my dad used to like it. Believe it or not, I had, at one time in my life, I had some vegan friends criticize me for cooking meat for my father. Cook him a steak if he wanted it. I'd cook him liver if he wanted it. People would say, well, how could you do that? Because it was my father. Because that's what he wanted. I'm a vegan. My father wasn't a vegan. He didn't have to be a vegan. You guys don't have to be a vegan. I'll tell you the truth. I don't care. I don't care that you're not. I love you guys exactly as you are. Kevin says, how are you? Good, Kevin. Welcome back, my friend. Jay says, Eric, please stop. You guys are just bad influence on me. Just bad influences on me, especially you, Jace. You, Eric Lapointe, William Downey are definitely bad influences on me. Barb says, Jace, onions would kill me. Also garlic and any strong seasons. That is due to the Crohn's disease. Barb says, Odom, I like boiled eggs in my crawfish dishes. How about just thin slices of beef liver mixed with your crawfish dishes? So that you don't even know. You don't even know they're there. Jay says, Barb, try and blend it with something like that. In my early teen bodybuilding years, I worked out with a Mr. Maryland who gave me a recipe to get big. He called it a tuna shake, and that's what it was. It was tuna fish made into a shake. If you're trying to get big, you mix it with whole milk, brewer's yeast, desiccated liver, all kinds of other nasty stuff. This is the day before, ready-made protein drinks. This is how old I am. And I drank it. I made it, and I drank it, and it was horrible. But hey, when you're 13 and Mr. Maryland says, hey, drink this to get big, you drink it. Kevin says, how are you? Kevin, I'm doing good. How about you? Barb says, hi to Kevin. Kevin says, hola, do you speak Spanish? I do not, my friend. I apologize. However, our friend the Burpee Reaper is here, and he speaks Spanish. As you guys talked yesterday, Reaper says, good morning, Eric and chat. We are 4 days away from the newest, the baddest of them all, Spartan Warrior, the Burpee Reaper. When you asked about your training for the Spartan race, I should have mentioned doing neck bridges, because you're going to need extra muscle around your neck to hold that medal. You're going to need that neck strength, man. I don't want to see you holding it down like that. Got to get that neck nice and strong. This says, Burger King Reaper. Hola, Kevin. Odom says, don't like onions either. I used to like onions raw. I could have them cooked on occasion. It's been a long time since I've had onions. They are not on the traditional yogic diet. They're not considered sattvic, which is the purer of the foods. Let's see. Rupa says, eat garlic with honey. It's supposed to be very good for you. On an empty stomach. Bar says, no, Wolf don't eat liver and will kick me out of the house. I was thinking really thin sliced liver mixed with spaghetti. Barb says, you see the onions raw while studying. Mom used to chew me out. She hated the smell. I always cooked with onions, garlic, and peppers. My brother does as well. So my house is often filled with a smell of overcooked meat and onions, garlic, and pepper, which is not pleasant for a vegan. But it's not for me to complain because I share a house with somebody. They have every right to stink it up, as is their choice. Eric Point says, Reaper with a salute. We get a double salute back. Greeting beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same stars, says our friend Squirrel Sniper. Reaper says, I thought if you heat up any vegetable, the nutrients went away. It depends on the vegetable or fruit, depending on the case. With tomatoes being an example, that it's actually a fruit, but when you cook it, the lycopene, which is a valuable antioxidant, is released. Steaming is the best way to cook your vegetables because it retains most of the nutritional benefits. Dagmar, how are you? It's nice to see you. And sometimes, if the choice is eating a vegetable with slightly less nutritional content versus not eating it because you can't handle it raw, it's better to eat it and get a little less. Hey, are you guys connected with Dagmar? It occurred to me that I have no idea why Dagmar is not a moderator. Barb says, Reaper, we have to dip fresh veggies in boiling water to blanch them from germs. You know what I just saw on the news? They're saying that for now, just washing vegetables and fruit isn't enough to take off the pesticides and herbicides that they put on them. That you'd have to, if you have an apple, that you have to deeply peel it. Is it still an apple? Are they telling me to eat a core? That's no fun. So, a little more expensive to buy organic. It's better for you, though. Leo's here. Leo says, much love, Yogi the Goat. Hope you're well, brother. I am doing pretty well. I got my 2 pumps in. Because I knew you guys were going to do 2 pumps. How you doing, Leo? Hey, we were talking about you, was it yesterday or the day before? Reaper was just talking about what an animal you'd become. Which, man, no one can deny that, that's for sure. Leo the Sledgehammer. Alexandria's here. Hello, Alexandria. How are you feeling today? Dagmar says, I'm counting the days. I finally have some vacation next Saturday. What are you going to do? You got any festivals coming up? Jace says, Nihai. Nihai. Isn't Nihai a drink? Dagmar says, so thank you for the jacket, Eric. Yeah, you know what? I can't believe you didn't have one before. Squirrel Simple says, if you're boiling and veg below ground needs cold water and heat it up. Above ground can go straight in boiling. Thank you. Hey, you know what? I didn't know that. So thank you indeed, Squirrel Sniper. Let's see. Capsule says chicken soup, old fashioned one. Old fashioned. I'm missing that last one. Keeps the doctor away. If it's is what my grandma always told us. Always fresh garlic cures common colds. There's actually scientific medical documents, studies that say yes, chicken soup. It's good for you. Horrible for the chickens though. Jace says, Dagmar connected. My condolences. Thank you for that, Jace. Dagmar says, I was always taught to eat the apple without getting rid of the peel. I don't know why. Yeah, I can't imagine that we gotten to the point that we've put so much stuff on our food that now we can't enjoy an apple as an apple. It's bad enough that we can't pick them from a tree anymore. Did we really need, I don't know. I'm not a farmer. Did we need all the pesticides that much? That it's actually now to the point, you know, they're saying you got to peel down deep So, man, you're eating an apple core and a little bit of apple. Jay says, use the boiled veg water to make your gravy. Excellent suggestion. Dagmar says, thank you, Jace. I really appreciate it. I'm going to connect back to you to make sure you leave your comment. Hey, and speaking of connection, Dagmar could always use some watch hours. And Jace could definitely, we're getting close, guys. We're getting close to the 1K mark with Jace. So if anyone's here who's not connected with Jace, 815. Barb says, Jace, the boiled water is to be thrown away. I have canned for about 55 years. What, why throw it away, Barb? Because it has the impurities of the vegetable, or? Dagmar says, casserole chicken soup really helps when you feel ill. Fortunately, nowadays, they make vegan chicken soup. Can we still call it chicken soup or just soup? I don't know. Dagmar says hello to Barb. Brian's here. Brian, how are you? Brian has been sharing with me turtle, toad, and frog information, which is much appreciated. Brian's at 919 subs, guys. How you doing, Brian? He also said Dagmar farm-raised chicken and farm-grown vegetables is a cure for almost any ailment. That's the key right there. Farm-raised. We're not talking about factory farms. We're not talking about animal production factories. We're talking about farm-raised. Excellent point, Castle. Eric Point says, Eric, did you see a picture of toads I had? I think that I sent them to. I did. I thought I replied to that. I'll have to check after the live stream. Barb says the pest control. It's a good point. And thank you for sending that, Brian. Dagmar says we're going to Croatia for 2 weeks. Never went there before. It's exciting. I bet. Safe travels. Brian says eat vegan burgers and chicken nuggets and hot dogs. I do on occasion, not often, and it's probably been about 3 years since I've had any fake vegan meat. Dagmar says, I think chicken soup is light on the stomach, and you get the fluids when you're sick. I think that's the thing. That makes sense. Joe says, so Dagmar, Leo, and Brian. So speaking of connections, guys, also make sure you connect with Joe Delaney, if you're not already. Brian says, I'm good, Eric. Thanks. How about yourself? I'm doing good. It's been a good day. Barb says that's why we use baking soda to kill bugs and worms in the garden. So yeah, most of your stuff that you grow is basically organic, right? Nice. Brian says, yeah, I love toads. I have more pictures than that. There's only a few of them. Hey, feel free to send whenever you want. Dagmar says, oh, does that help to Barb? That's a good tip. Barb says, yeah, check out my community page. She's got a link there that tells you about it. Nice. Brian puts coffee grounds on my mom's roses because she said that it helps them grow bigger. I've heard that as well. Kelso says, I'm not sure I could go vegan I love soyloin steak. Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. Fortunately, you know, whether you believe in climate change or not, um, not everyone needs to go to have an effect. Not everyone needs to go vegan to have an effect on climate change. Only a certain percentage. So, guys, you're welcome. I'm doing the work for you so that you can enjoy the soyloin steaks. No thanks needed. I always tell people, man, if you get the urge to go vegan, you go vegan. If you don't have the urge, um, plant-based is the way to go. Plant-based means that you eat more plants. Doesn't mean that you stop eating meat. It means you eat more plants. Eric Point says every farmer hates spraying their crops, and the main reason they spray it is because people spread um, fungus and invasive bugs. They're expensive and a lot of work. It's a good point, and it helps to, again, it helps to see things. This is the gift that Eric Lapointe brings, to see things from a different perspective. Dagmar says she will to Barb. Brian's saying hello to Barb. Barb says hey back. Dagmar says I'd rather use some natural stuff to keep some creatures away from my garden. Understandable. Poor man says howdy Yogi. Hey poor man, I was just thinking about you because I was talking about Maharishi Mahesh Yogi's buying a college, which is in Fairfield, right? It is Fairfield, or is it Fairfax, Iowa, which is not far from where poor man lives. Hey, so did you fill the sandbag up with 200? Barb says hi to poor man. Barb says, Brian, coffee grounds, tea groundings, and dog hair in the bottom of soil to help hold moisture. Nice. I'm glad that wasn't a recipe, because to be honest, it sounds like a horrible soup. Coffee grounds, tea grounds, dog hair, bottom of the soil soup does not sound appetizing at all. Poor man says, good afternoon, Barb. Old Bayou trick. Thank you for that. Council says, Eric Lapointe, heard Coca-Cola is used as bug spray in some countries. Wow. Man, that tells you about drinking Coke, doesn't it? Jace Waves, poor man. Dagmar says, we eat meat like once a week. We did have to learn how to cook a tasty vegetable meal. In the beginning, it tasted the same. I do suggest looking at, for example, Indian kitchen. Some cultures don't. Really good point, Dagmar. Excellent point. Barb says, my grandfather would plant marigolds between the plants. Bugs don't like them. Man, the wisdom, definitely the wisdom of the elders. I think about I talked about this with Kay Renee, and I'm sure Odom knows about it. I'm sure that both Wolf and Barb, maybe all of you, the three sisters growing squash, beans, and what's the other one, Barb? And how they grow in support of each other. It's ingenious. It was very prevalent in the northeastern Native American tribes, the Iroquois. Can't think of the other. It was squash. Oh, corn. Man, how could I miss that? Dagmar says, eat a lot of meat. Yeah, Indian kitchen, some cultures don't eat a lot of meat. Absolutely. Yes, Fairfield. Yeah, man, it's stuffed pretty tight. I'm loving it. Hey, did you, what was your first workout with it? You didn't happen to put it up by any chance, did you? Poor man says, thanks for suggesting the sandbag too. I'm really happy with it. Man, it's a wonderful tool. And I definitely need to get back to it one day. I guarantee you it's not going to be a 200-pound sandbag. Even in my heftier days, it was never a 200-pound sandbag. Man, poor man is in beast mode. Jay says, buy carbonate of soda. Let's see, some oil and water. It's the best pesticide made at home. Great suggestion. Dagmar says, I didn't have enough space to type. Understandable. Dagmar's waving a poor man. Eric Point says, Castle well. So knowing that, would anyone still willingly ingest soda? Although I think if you had to drink soda, maybe a little bit of ginger ale might not be too bad. When I was a kid, I had a thing for root beer. And birch beer. Do they even make birch beer anymore? Jay says, poor man, I'm happy with coffee and honey. Jacob is dropping the links for Dagmar. Thank you, Jacob. Poor man says, Jace, baking soda is also a great pre-workout, especially if you're an endurance athlete, as it cuts down on lactic acid buildup. Makes it more manageable. Thank you, Kayla. That's why Jay says he's happy with coffee and honey. Poor man says, I put one up. Not the greatest video I made, but it's carrying at 75 yards. So it was already gassed. Just a quick 5-minute video. Yeah, but it's a quick 5-minute video of you lugging 200 pounds. So it is definitely worth seeing. I got it up. I'm going to check it out after the live stream. In the meantime, guys, I don't know if you'll be able to open this if you're not on a desktop, and you're probably not. Make sure you check it out. Jacob saying hi to Dagmar and poor man and Brian. Let's see. Eric Point says, I love birch beer and cream soda. So they still make it, huh? I think if I said birch beer to anybody under, what, age of 40, they would be like, what are you talking about? Poor man says, hey to Colby. Barb says, people laugh at me and call me voodoo witch because I follow what the bayous and elders teach. But 90% of the time, it's better than what you buy over the counter in a store. Yeah, I bet. Hey, to me, voodoo witch is a compliment. Not that I would want to be called a voodoo witch, but it is, man, it means you know your stuff. Poor man says the point. Poor man says, Yogi, I'm planning on training my training good mornings with it. Going to make my lower back solid. Nice. So you're going to hold it on your chest or around the back? It wasn't that long ago, I believe I saw Runner Boy doing good mornings. You don't see a ton of good mornings in the gym anymore. I think good mornings with a moderate weight actually might be safer for your back than deadlifts or squats. Debatable. Barb says, if you drink Cokes, sodas and ice to it, or a bit of water to cut down the acid. Good advice. I haven't had a soda since I had rum in it. That tells you how long it's been, as I've been sober for 25 years. Dave says, poor man, I used to carry close to that on my back. and for days sometimes. I now have worn out knees. We're talking about your military days, Jace. Thank you for dropping that link, Jacob. Dangwa says, what is a cream soda, Eric Lapointe? I'm imagining a Sprite with whipped cream. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure I've ever had a cream soda. Lots of birch beer. Root beer floats. Yep, poor man says the same. I'm assuming in military, Jace. Just brother. Just a bear hug. How about Zercher squats, too? Zercher squats, you'll work the core, you'll work the arms, you'll work the lower back. The traps, man, a whole lot of trap workout. Eric Point says, no, it looks like beer and has a real smooth taste. Dagmar's never heard of that before. Let's see. Foreman says, drink a non-alcoholic beer. Eric Lapointe. I tried that when I quit drinking, and I thought, you know what? What's the point? But for people who are beer lovers, maybe it's different. Gregory says lower back is feeling a lot better compared to this past weekend. So I'll be working out tonight, hopefully tomorrow. That's excellent news, Gregory. Happy to hear that. How have you been, aside from the lower back? Jay says, I'm drinking a cold beer. Let's see, Eric Point says it's close to a root beer and a birch beer. Dagmar says, okay to Eric Point, I hear you. Foreman says there are so many options, man. Really like what Savage Army does with sandbags. Lots of great ideas. Have you watched any of Runner Boy's sandbag videos? It's such a great all-purpose tool, and I love the fact that you can combine it so easily with bodyweight stuff. And you don't even have to get fancy. Pick it up, carry it. Do some bodyweight stuff. Pick it up, carry it. There's so many different ways of carrying it. Pick it up, shoulder it, walk. Slow it down. Do some bodyweight squats, some bodyweight push-ups. Pick it up on the other shoulder, walk. Doesn't have to be heavy. No one has to be a complete savage like poor man. Doesn't have to be 200 pounds. It could be 40 pounds. It could be 20 pounds. Barb says, I only drink soda at night to help me handle the medication. What do you like to drink, Barb? She says, I miss A&W root beer. We had one for years. Then one day they were gone. Man, that was the root beer of choice, A&W. Dagmar is waving at Gregory. Poor man says, I heard trainers talk about how a sandbag will reveal weaknesses. Can definitely see what they mean now. Not easy. Yeah, they're always shifting. It's anytime you train under conditions of instability, you're going to see where your weaknesses lie. Poor man says, no, I will check out Runner Boys. I'm subbed. Runner Boy is a very meticulous trainer. Poor man says, I almost had it to the shoulder, man. I could taste it there. Next time for sure. How many days a week are you going to do sandbag stuff, poor man? Dagmar says sandbags are horrible to carry. We sometimes have flooding in fall or winter, and I know that a sandbag is dead weight. Absolutely, it is. And the fact that they're so horrible to carry make them such a great training tool. Jason, squats with sandbag will work everything. Legs and core get the most work. Absolutely. Foreman says, got to build up my forearms. It's going to take some time. Yeah, and the grip. Gripping a sandbag is tough. Warp says, Diet Dr. Pepper mixed with Diet Sprite and cherry juice. Never had a Dr. Pepper my entire life. I've only had one energy drink as well, Red Bull, and that was at a race. It was suggested. It was the last aid station. It was hot. I had about 6 miles to go for the finish. They said it will give you calories and it will give you energy, of course, caffeinated. Instead, it made me sick. Miserable last 6 miles of that race. Dagmar says, especially when they are wet. Oh yeah, I bet. Now you've just doubled down on the pain. Poor man says, yeah, Dagmar. The way I used it was outside and been rained on. Man, you just added to the misery, poor man. It's like 200 pounds wasn't enough. 200 pounds wasn't enough to make poor man suffer. What more could I do? How could this suck even more? So, guys, in a minute, I'm going to have to shut things down. A little earlier today, I was mentioning above, I missed my second meditation period for the day because Milka and Misty were a little bit late coming over. And when you have a choice to meditate or take a walk with Milka and Misty, you guys haven't met Milka and Misty, but trust me, the better option is always to spend time with your loved ones. Especially if one of your loved ones is a dog. I'm not playing favorites. I'm not saying I love more than the other. Let's just say one of those two, one of them will give me a high five for a treat. The other one won't. I'm not going to say who is who, which is which. I'm just saying. Dagmar says, I'm glad I catched you live. Me too. It's been a little bit, Dagmar. I was happy to see you come in. Jay says, did you get a high five? I did, but not from the one you're thinking of. Jacob says, thank you, brother Mr. Yogi, for having me on your stream once again. Truly appreciate it. Much love and respect. Big salute. Big salute to you. Big salute to you and Chris Crable putting in the work yesterday. That was great to see. Chris is such a great guy. Foreman says, have a great day, Colby. Dagmar says, dogs are the best. They are the best. And one of the things I love, is visiting your channel for watch hours and the dog walks, the nature walks. I was laughing because Master Sergeant retired. Milka says, and you won't get one from the one you're thinking of either. We don't know which one I was thinking of. Dagmar says, or poor man says, Crable is a beast. Yeah, he is. Dagmar says, nice to be here. And thank you, Eric, and everyone in the chat. Thank you. Jason is waving and laughing, along with Mocha. Jacob says, "You too, brother, poor man." Eric Point says, "Another great live." Mocha is smiling at Jace. Hey, you know what? I should have taken a photo. On the bike path as we were walking, there is someone wrote in chalk, because they had a scavenger hunt, high five zone. It was a proclamation. How can you not high five someone when you're in the high five zone? It's in the bylaws. It is written down somewhere. And yet, Mocha broke the bylaws. Refused to obey the law. You guys let me know what you think about that in the next live stream. Jacob says, "Yes, he is for sure. See you guys later." Barb says, "Yogi, I know who would." Yeah, I think we all know. Sad to say. Mocha says, "Hi, Barb. Hugs to you." Jason, Eric had a pocket full of chalk. Now, I was walking earlier before they came over. I'm not saying that I wrote it myself. However, it is, I actually believe it's a biblical law. That which is written on a bike path in chalk. I think there might be some yays and some theys and some thous. It must be obeyed. It's not my rules, guys. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. So, all right, guys. I'll be back. A little over 2 hours. So if you got nothing to do, come on by. Dagmar's laughing with Jace. I was about to protest. You guys really think I would do something like that just to get a high five from Mocha after almost 23 years? And yeah, of course you do. Of course you think that I would do something like that. Because I probably would. All right, I would. You guys know that I would. It's not a bad suggestion, actually. Not a bad idea. All right. I'm gonna see everyone later. Take care, guys. Let's see. Dagmar says, "Eric, I will be off for a bit, but we'll be back." Appreciate it. I'm looking forward to your next live streams when you're doing some when you're doing some walks, and when you're at a rave. Wolf says, "Hi to Master Sergeant. Retired. Blessings, everyone. Blessings to you, my friend." Dagmar says, "Take care, everyone." Milka says, "Hey to Wolf." All right. So, hey, those that can, and if you want, come on back. Those who can't, I appreciate you being here now. And those who don't want to, I still appreciate you being here now. It's all good. And it's always good. Jay says, "Love you. I love you too, my friend." I'm going to see everyone later. Take care.